Hello, I wanted to talk about Vim's modalness in general. Uh, and that's something that you kind of have to understand even before you use Vim visually. Vim has a lot of great window control, automatic opening and closing, and loading documents, and ways to resize your windows and rotate what's inside of them, swap them, all kinds of stuff. But that's not as powerful as the buffer system underneath. The things you have loaded are not inherently locked into you having them open on the screen in a window. And anything you could ever imagine doing with Windows, if you say, like, let's say, I'd love to have my main document here on the left, and on the right, I'll have a big row of all my other windows with my resource documents. And then above my main one, I'll have a nearly as large the document I'm copying from, or commands in the bottom, of course. But so you might have some idea of how you'd like to arrange that. And really, if you want it to be robust and work properly, you want it to you want to do it with buffers instead. Just load all those things and understand your information flow, which file, a loaded file is called a buffer, and how that would all work together. It's much more powerful. And then when you put the windowing system on top of that, now you've got a lot of control and use what you call viewports and all this other stuff. So to a certain degree, when they say Vim is modal, they are talking literally about Windows, and they're talking about when you're in normal mode, and then you let's say you type colon, that would put you into command line mode. Now you're typing down at the bottom. You're locked into that little typing place. You can't just go hopping out of it and change windows or other stuff while you're in there. You have to either enter it and enter your command, or hit escape to deny it, or control C to completely cancel the fact that you entered it as much as possible. Uh, if you hit slash, you go into it's a colon for command mode. If you hit slash for forward search, or question mark for back search, now you're typing in your search pattern, and you're stuck in that window. So that's a modal nature. Um, Insert mode, typing uh, I, capital I, gets you to the beginning of the line. Then you start typing in insert mode. Small case I in front of your cursor. Small case A after your cursor. Most useful one, usually big A, jumps to the end of the line unless you start typing, and it'll say insert in the lower left hand corner. So now you're in insert mode. You get out and accept what you've typed by typing escape, and then that pops you back up into normal mode. Um, so most things are done by either going into a separate mode and then you type what you want. You can find it unacceptable, hit Control C. That doesn't cancel your regular insert mode typing, but in the other modes it does. I should put that there. Anyway, escape accepts, it puts what you typed. If you're, oh, I just complicated it, but anyway, hitting enter in other modes runs whatever you typed, but obviously not in regular insert mode. When you hit return, you just get a new line and keep on typing. Um, and there's a third type of mode, autocomplete, well, an expression, really a fourth mode. Autocomplete is when you're in insert mode, or it actually works if you're in your search box, or if you're typing a command, you can invoke autocomplete, usually by Control X and then something, some type of autocomplete. You could autocomplete from a dictionary, a thesaurus, from your own documents, from complete lines, and six other things. And that'll pop up modes, it'll do pop-ups inside of your wherever you're typing. So now that's another type of mode, and it could be inside of all of these. And there are these Control X autocomplete little auto pasters. They're finicky, right? If you're typing along and you lose it, now you're back into regular insert mode, which is fine. You just start over again. But I'm just saying that's the nature of modalness. The word order matters. And so then you're typing autocomplete, you finish your autocomplete, it pastes itself in. Now you're back in insert mode. If you're done inserting, you say escape and go back up to normal mode. And finally, there's this expression mode, which you may not have seen yet, that You can use it inside of any of the other modes, or even just paste from it raw. It's like a calculator. It's like a very fast, very smart calculator. If you do need a calculator on hand, I'd say it's probably better than the desktop calculator. You just say equals, quote, equals, and then it'll open up your an equals prompt at the bottom. So that's why it's a different mode. Like equals in the lower left of the screen, and you type in your 9 plus 5. You hit return, carriage return, and you pop back up. It'll well, then you need to give it a command like P or paste afterwards, and it'll push whatever calculation. One thing to remember about the expression register, it only gives you as much accuracy as you give it. So if you want 5 divided by 3, it'll say 1. But if you say 5.0 divided by 3, or 5 divided by 3.0, anywhere, if you include the decimal point and some tenths and hundredths digits, then it'll answer you. Was it 3.3 something? But it'll give you a full floating point calculation, very high level uh, calculator. Anyway, so that's that set of inner modes that can work together. Now, just the final complication is in any of these modes. Here, I'm going to put an N up here. This is the master normal mode for whatever window you're in focus. It's always only one window with its one buffer loaded at a time. That is the one that's in focus. And at the top level is in normal mode, which is the one where every little key does something. You can enter your expression, your movements in words, word, backwards. The arrow keys are functioning. So this is the top level master normal mode. Let's say from there you go into your slash for your search mode, or you could say question mark to save a little time if you're searching backwards. From this prompt, really from any of the prompts pretty much, if you say Control F, it'll pop up a whole new window for you of the history of whatever it is you're working in. So the history of the commands, if you went into command mode, and then you Control F, it puts you into the history of commands. And there you can, if you choose any of those lines, you can just hit Enter, hit carriage return, and it'll run it as if you typed it, and it'll start searching on it, or it'll run the command and put you back in normal mode. So if you hit Enter, it goes right back, all the way around, but right to normal mode. You can also hit Escape to get back out to the wherever you were in, the slash or the command prompt or the expression register. And you can hit Control C also. But this can be a bit confusing to be trapped in this window here, this history window, because you can't just go switching out, just like you can't switch out of the command prompt or the slash prompt, the search prompt. You can't jump to other windows or close the buffer or anything underneath that while you've got the history of that Windows commands or searches or anything open. You have to close it first, and then you're back up to your main normal mode. So you're in a normal mode here. This is a normal mode. You can control all your history list, this big long, everything you ever typed. You can search and replace and do tons of stuff as if it's normal mode, but it's not real normal mode because, of course, you can just hit enter and anything and it makes it a search, and it's not the master normal mode window. So you've got to out of that, and the last normal depthness you'd ever go to that I know of is when you're in any of these history windows, you can hit colon again and get to the command line that is only for this window. So you can run the commands and do options and stuff, and that'll just be so you can be really smart about manipulating your history or composing your command line or whatever it is you're doing. And then you close your command line, that brings you back to here, and then there. And once again, if you decide you want out and you really don't want to deal with any of it, you don't care if you lose your history of it or something, the various things Vim kind of helps you as it goes. Use Control C, and then Control C, and then Control C a third time possibly, and then that'll pop you back up to your main normal mode. Um, but that's it. So that's the modality of the windows and the nature of the literal modality, but really the deeper power in Vim is its modal language for doing what we call Vim Golf, which is to play a game Can you get to your goal and do your change in the least number of keystrokes? And it's also literally a game online. You can get online and search on Vim Golf, and people compare high scores and stuff. So you have different strokes and putters and what do you call the clubs for doing your opening stroke and your approach, and the putt is, you know, like whether or not you literally land before or after the exact character you want on the line perfectly. And you know, as a side goal, there's it's not just how direct you really get there, but also if you do take a slightly indirect way, you pick up metadata or otherwise inform your Vim that of something that makes it useful later. So you're be even more efficient or faster because you used this system rather than possibly just hopping directly to your goal. I mean, an obvious thing there is to search or use a term rather than just use a line number. If a line, you look into the line number, that the document shifts or moves up or down, or if something changes, or if you go back and you look at your code, your history of what you typed, and you said, "I jumped this line number. Why? Why did you?" It's not flexible at all. So using a search term or some other set of words, sentences, paragraph hopping, or any of that stuff is more meaningful. And you can look back on your history and say, oh, I did that because I was looking for this. So even though it might take a little longer, it's a better Vim golf move than just hopping right to a line number. All right, so that's the modal nature underneath. I think with that, I can possibly, I might make an accompanying screen grab video of me actually using Vim and doing some of this stuff. But um, yeah, this is all to help you get in and out of the windows easily, depending on what might happen. So that what I do in the next video, which is going to be the usual Vim, the, lots of windows and shifting windows and very visual stuff. But that visual stuff is not as powerful if you don't understand the modes underneath, and also the buffers. That buffers are really more powerful than windows. You can have thousands and thousands of, should have, you know, you can have tons of buffers and interrelate them by name and more meaningful things, swapping between them than just visual relationship. And then you put the visual relationship on top of it, and it's really good. All right, take care. Thank you.